Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your August 2020 general reading. We are looking at the first half of August from the 1st through the 15th, and this reading is for the water sign of Scorpio. Welcome everyone. I hope you're all doing safe. I hope you're all doing well and that you're staying safe and well and, trying to be as grounded as we possibly can in an unprecedentedly fluid and changing world and situation. Thank you for joining us here today. For all of your likes, shares, subscribes, comments, feedback, donations, every little bit helps. Thank you so much. Even if it's just taking the time to watch the videos and to hit the subscribe button if you'd like. Okay, so this reading is for the water sign of Scorpio. So that's for Scorpio Sun, Moon, Rising, if your Venus is in Scorpio, if you are cross-watching for a Scorpio, it's all relevant. But if you know all of your signs, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, watch them all because each one can bring in additional information which can kind of help broaden your perspective on what's going on in your life because, of course, general readings resonate a little differently for everyone. If any of the videos do resonate with you and you'd like to take a deeper look at something, reach out for a personal reading or information. You can click on the description link below, click on that little arrow that pulls down information. You'll see my email address there, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. Feel free to email me. I can usually respond within the same day or the next, or within the next 24 hours with more information. And I do readings full time. It's all that I do. So I'm pretty diligent at scheduling between your schedule and my schedule in as timely a fashion as possible. So if you're interested, email me and I'd be delighted to set something up for you. All right, Scorpio, let's take a look at what the first half of August has in store for you. I am using today the Gilded Tarot Royale. Okay, Scorpio, we begin with the Knight of Cups, followed by the Chariot. We have the Sun, followed by the Seven of Wands. And from the bottom of the deck, overall energy for the first half of August is the Devil, which is interesting because the Devil can represent a lot of different things, and we'll clarify, but it represents a kind of a fundamental instability, a pretty profound instability. The Devil can show up for addictions, classic addictions like alcohol, drugs, sex, gambling, shopping. It can represent mental health issues, negative toxic relationships, too much obsessiveness, controlling, neediness, clinginess. So temptations and vices are basically what the Devil represents. The things that we feel we may be chained to for, fill in the blank, one reason or the other, or something that we return to over and over again, particularly in times of stress or pain that aren't good for us, or that aren't good for us in the amount that we put into it. Too much energy in one area to the detriment and harm of other areas or people, which is why it often represents, addictions, because things that in and of themselves might not be bad, but too much attention, too much obsessiveness, and they become, there's an imbalance, a significant imbalance. So that's kind of the overall energy for the first half of August. But the rest of the cards for those 2 weeks look fairly positive, but right now it looks like somebody's kind of rushing in to make some kind of promise or offer of it'll be great, it'll be fine, it'll be perfect, everything will be fine, and they're kind of holding on to the fact that everything's fine or will be fine, something of that sort. Let's clarify before we get going. Let's see what that Devil represents exactly. What's the energy driving the Devil card? Six of Cups. So there's a historical connection there, which the Six of Cups can often represent. Can represent childhood, parents, roots of origin, where you grew up, old lovers, old friends, or something with which you have a historical connection. And also, it can represent looking at things through rose-colored glasses, very much like a child does. That time when you're a child and, you don't worry too much beyond the moment, the present. And you don't have kind of the cares and concerns and worries that an adult usually does. So this may be, Scorpio, a situation. It looks like relationship to me, and it feels very much like relationship. Of course, the nature of that relationship can vary. It could be, the love romance nature. It could be a good friendship, a family relationship. I don't feel like it's work related. Although, of course, what's in one area of our life often bleeds through to another. But it looks like it's a situation which has been present for some time. And it might be, too, that the unhealthiness of the Devil card is because you or the other person, somebody may be looking at something through rose-colored glasses in spite of how, because the Devil and the Six of Swords can represent, the very definition of insanity being doing the same thing over and over again, expecting to get different results each time, and feeling like, oh, if I just do this long enough, it'll change, or things will, it's not so bad, all the excuses we tell ourselves, trying to not focus so much on the negative, but focus on the positive, which isn't necessarily a negative, but in a situation that's really unhealthy. Doing that just perpetuates an unhealthy cycle. So that's kind of the overall energy around this situation for you, Scorpio, in the first half of August. So we have the Knight of Cups with the Chariot. So the Knight of Cups is the Knight of Water, emotions. The Knight of Cups comes rushing in to, make an offer, present an opportunity of love, support, encouragement. The Knight of Cups, comes in, and he's the idealist, he's the romantic, he's in love with love itself. The sun, the moon, the stars, red roses, moonlight, dancing, candlelight, all of that kind of stuff. It's a beautiful energy. But the Knight does have its challenges too, especially as a person who's, promising something or coming with, all these loving offers. It might be sincere. The thing with the Knight of Cups, and therein is the Knight of Cups challenge, is he or she believes firmly in what they're saying in the moment because they're caught up in it. They're the Knight of emotion, the Knight of water. But the challenge for the Knight, because he's not fully mature, he hasn't, he's matured beyond the page energy, but isn't quite a queen or a king yet. So sometimes the Knight of Cups, the challenge is in the idealism and what they promise, believing in that in the moment, often is very difficult for them to follow through in the long term, when real world stuff comes in or issues or problems come up too. So, but somebody is kind of rushing in here, Scorpio, to make some kind of offer of love, promises, all of that kind of stuff. And this feels like whoever's doing this is very determined. So what's driving the Knight of Cups is the Chariot. This is a card that represents winning, success, winning because you refuse to give up. It's a card that represents overcoming a lot of hardships and challenges because you have your eye focused on a goal and you're very ambitious and driven. You don't let anything stop you, get in the way, no matter how many times you get knocked down. So it's a card of determination, strength, perseverance, fortitude, winning simply because you refuse to give up. Which might be, why we have this Devil and this Six of Cups. But again, the challenge with the Knight of Cups, because I feel like for many of you, Scorpio, it's the external person, the other person kind of coming in. The challenge with the Knight of Cups is that he often doesn't like to look at, the real issues or focus on the issues because that's difficult and it's hard and it's sweaty, dirty, boots on the ground kind of work. So for example, in a love romance relationship, this would be somebody who wants to believe that everything's fine, continues to believe that everything's fine, in spite of the fact that there might be issues that need to be addressed. They don't want to deal with them, they don't want to look at them, they'd rather shove them under the carpet and say, but this and that and the other thing, and that's not really a healthy, balanced dynamic. And it looks like it kind of continues too, because we have the Sun followed by the Seven of Wands. So the Sun is a card, and the Sun is right next to the Knight of Cups. It's just charging in with all this strength and determination and perseverance, and we'll get through it. It'll be like the sun and an uplifting of pressure and life, love, warmth, laughter. And okay, but what about this issue? No, it'll be all fine, and then we can deal with that another time. And that's kind of the energy I'm getting, and very determined. The Seven of Wands represents somebody who's defending something or guarding or protecting something that they have a lot invested in. And that's sitting right next to the Chariot. This feels like a relationship, Scorpio, an already established relationship, whether it's romantic or friend or family. Some situation, some relationship between a relationship or a situation that has history to it. This is an established thing. This is not a new thing. It feels like this is something which has a relationship or situation which has a lot of history to it. You've been in it for some time, and there's been a lot of challenges and a lot of back and forth and up and down and roller coaster ride and kind of just cycling, but it feels like it cycles around the same thing over and over again. Whatever the issues are, they haven't been dealt with, and they are still remaining. And perhaps, they've been brought up, but they just haven't really been dealt with. They've been ignored or shoved aside, but neither side is willing to, the work that it needs to take to make something change or to create positive and healthy change is not here. It might be that one person is and one person isn't, but neither person, at least up until now, has been willing to kind of back off. So the cycle has just kept continuing. And it looks like, end of July, first part of August, there's this persistence in not wanting to let go of it because so much time is invested in it. But it also doesn't feel like somebody's being realistic about what needs to happen in order for this to break out of this cycle and move forward in a healthy way. That's what it looks like to me. Let's see what this opportunity really is with this Knight of Cups. Because again, it feels like somebody's just saying, don't leave, or we can make it, if we just keep going. But what about actually addressing what needs to be addressed and fixing what needs to be fixed and kind of working on it? No, we'll just keep going kind of energy. Let's get a little bit of clarification on what this Knight is offering or presenting. Two fall out here. First one is the Ace of Wands and the Emperor right behind it. So for some of you, it might be an Aries that you're involved in with the Emperor here, or it could be somebody, an Aries, it could be somebody who's maybe older, somebody in a position of some status, authority, seniority. But the Emperor is also someone who, his challenge is in being too domineering, too structured, too controlling, because he's the emperor. He runs, an entire empire. So, this is somebody who's fairly rigid, who does things by the book. Everything has to be done a certain way, and he's at the top of that food chain, But here is an exciting new beginning, maybe a passionate new beginning. So it looks like, Scorpio, somebody is really determined to hold on to this relationship, this situation. They're coming in promising that everybody's going to be fine. They'll take care of everything. They'll handle everything. They're trying to maybe restart or renew or say, hey, let's let's go on vacation. Let's, where the fig leaves come off kind of situation. But even though they're showing up perhaps as the Emperor, there's not a resolving here. It's like an unhealthy relationship or a relationship that has some pretty serious, significant problems, and you guys just keep going around in the same cycle, maybe it gets brought up, but it doesn't ever really get addressed or acknowledged or worked on. It's just this continuing, response of, we're going to be fine, everything's going to be fine, I don't think it's that bad, and so it just kind of continues. It's like they're very determined and aggressive to hold on, but not do what needs to be done. It's just the same old cycle over and over again. So let's see what the advice is. What is the advice for Scorpio on how best to navigate through this energy for the first half of August? Okay, two cards, the Hanging Man and the Four of Swords. So Spirit is suggesting you not do much of anything for this time period. The Four of Swords is a card of taking a temporary respite, a temporary withdrawal, a temporary step back to rest, recuperate, get a different perspective. A Hanging Man is similar energy. This is a card that represents no action just yet because you're watching things play out. You're seeing how things go. It's not the right time to act even if you want to, because things are still playing out. Everything is not known. And while you're hanging there, you can also perhaps gain a different perspective based on what you're seeing play out. So in terms of advice, Scorpio, it feels like you're being called to not do too much right now, not take any action. Some of it might be, whatever this Knight of Cups is coming in and saying or promising, if they're promising something new or something different, or that they're going to change or do this or whatever. I think you're being called to kind of not say yes, not say no, but just kind of wait and see how things play out. Are they serious? Can they follow through? Because the challenge with the Knight of Cups, with all knights, particularly the Knight of Cups, is in the follow through, because he believes in the emotion when he's in the emotion of the moment, but when the actual problems resurface or things need to be dealt with, it's harder for him because he's an idealist, and having real life issues and problems come up, challenge that ideal of things being perfect, and you're off with the fairies and kind of all of that stuff. So you're being asked to kind of watch and see how things play out during this time, but not to take any action one way or the other. Because, this is a general reading and the outcome will be different for people. Some of you, this Knight of Cups may in fact be able to follow through, and some of you it may not. You don't know right now, so you're being asked not to take action and just kind of watch and wait and see how things play out. Free will and free agency, of course, it's up to you. But someone is determined to hold on, and someone is determined to kind of restart or reignite things, and we'll kind of see how it goes from there. All right, Scorpio, that is your reading for the first half of August. I hope that it gave you some perspective, some food for thought. Again, if you'd like to reach out for a personal reading, take a deeper look at something, feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the August mid-month readings. Until then, stay safe and well, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.